Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a video review of the Gettysburg, the Confederate High Tide book from Time Life Books. It's a history book and from 35 years ago, and we'll get into it real quickly here. This is very well read, well worn, as you'll see as time goes on here. Bindings kind of coming apart. This is a map, of course, of Maryland leading into Pennsylvania to Gettysburg here. Give you a little background. Start with first portrait here is the last day's battle, Pickett's charge at the angle. This is General John Hancock here. This is a portrait of General George Meade, who was promoted to General of the Armies just before the start of the battle. Here's a nice little picture here of Captain George Armstrong Custer on horseback. That's the real guy. Okay, now this is a picture depicting the hardships of traveling and moving large armies at the time. So let's keep going here. This is cavalry life. This is General Jeb Stuart, who was tied up at Westminster, not far from where I live here, and Union Mills just days before the battle. I arrived late and got chewed out for not being at the battle on time. He was the eyes and ears of the General Lee's army. This is cavalry conflict here, and it has a nice section. As you can see, the book is well read, well worn. Here's a drawing of Captain George Armstrong Custer here wielding his saber. Okay, cavalry life here. This is first day's battle, and we have map depicting the movements of the two armies before the battle. Soldiering on horseback. This is a good section right here. At the time, we have daily living for a cavalry soldier, some of his equipment. There you go. And let's move on here. That's a flag from Michigan. This is a Union Cavalry General John Buford. And this is a picture of Seminary Ridge, famous photo, bird's eye view. Okay, and we're going on. This is Major Reynolds, who John Reynolds killed the first day. There's a depiction of a eyewitness of him being shot off his horse, killed the first day of battle. And this is Seminary Ridge, McPherson Ridge, famous painting depicting the battle at McPherson's Ridge, and pocket knife from a soldier, the famous Francis Barlow, who Barlow's Knoll is named after in Gettysburg. And moving forward, the famous John Burns, the civilian, the only civilian to help defend the town. And the famous Jenny Wade. My wife and I visited the Jenny Wade house. There she is, the only civilian to be killed during the Battle of Gettysburg. She was killed by a stray bullet while she was baking bread. Let's move on quickly here. There's a picture of General Longstreet, who was hesitant to order the final charge, the Pickett's charge, final day's battle. And soldiers here, Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain, and he was leading the 20th Maine down the hill, the charge on Little Round Top towards William Oates, the Alabamans at the bottom of Little Round Top. Here's some dead soldiers at the bottom of Plum Run, the bottom of Little Round Top, General Warren. There's a statue depicting him just like that there at the top of Little Round Top. And this is drawing of the charge of the 20th Maine coming down Little Round Top towards the Alabamans. Now, here we go further. Here's a nice portrait here. And as I said, the book is well worn. Seeing a lot of use. Indian style fighting around the base of Devil's Den. And Augustus Van Horn Ellis, he was leading the New Yorkers at the top of Devil's Den looking into the triangular field, and he posed, that pose is the statue that He has up there at the top of the triangular field, and he stayed calm to try to keep his guys calm. Here's portraits of the battle. We'll get through this real quick. These are beautiful paintings. Here, it's an old book, 35 years old. And this is the last day's battle here, Pickett's charge. And there's General Lee on his horse, Traveler, and Father Corby offering absolution to the Union soldiers before the final day's battle. Pickett's charge, Cemetery Hill. Dan Sickles, General Dan Sickles, he lost his leg. It was blown off, stayed on display at a museum. He often visited his leg in later years. This is a sad picture here, the dead horses around the Trossel house. Dead horses, very tragic, part of the war. The animals suffering. Okay. Further along, here's another portrait here. From Culp's Hill, Cemetery Ridge. There's the gatehouse to the cemetery. The fighting around there. This is depicting the scene that went on inside General Meade's headquarters the night before the final battle, the third day. There you go. And these are scenes, these are cutaways from the panorama, cyclorama. There we go. And these are different excerpts. Beautiful painting. That's what people used to do in the old days. Instead of going to movies, they went to the cycloramas. And this is the fighting around Culp's Hill. Again, here we go. Let's keep going further. This is the final day's battle. This is hiding in the woods up on the Seminary Ridge, the Confederate Avenue. And this is the man whose name is lent to the final charge, General George Pickett. There he is. He was mad, angry that he lost his whole division. And this is Mr. Armistead here, General Armistead, Lewis. And we'll go a little further here. This is the final day's battle here, portrait. And as you can see right here, if it focuses a little bit there, there's General Armistead, and he is at the bottom down there, and he is handing over his pocket watch to be handed over to his friend John Hancock, General Hancock. And we'll keep going here. This is the final day's battle, the retreat. Lee saying it's all his fault, mementos from the battlefield. And here we go. These are wounded and prisoners. And going further here, these are Matthew Brady portraits that are done just days after the battle. And this is Matthew Brady striding the fence here. This is the cemetery gate. And this is the bottom of Little Round Top. This is Devil's Den area, Plum Run. These are some of the soldiers, tragic. This is a fellow they dragged up here to pose for this particular portrait here, the sniper's den. This is General Meade's headquarters here. Days after the battle. This is a tragic picture here. This is the cost of war, and they buried them right where they lay. And last but not least, the Gettysburg Address. And you can see right here in the center, that's Abraham Lincoln with his hat off. By the time the guy got the camera set up, ready to take the picture, guess what? Lincoln had finished, and he sat down. So that's it right there for that today. This is a nice little portrait of the New Yorker, and they had red pants that distinguished them. Now here's quickly, I'm going to show you some good reading material. The Ghosts of Gettysburg by Mark Nesbitt. He was a former park ranger. I got volumes 1 and 4. This is good reading. This is where I learned about the paranormal activity that happens particularly in the triangular field that I've done some video on. And here, last but not least, my pride and joy, my Ghost of Gettysburg shirt. Okay, thanks for tuning in and watching. We'll see you guys. Have a great night, great day, and bye-bye.